Hello. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you just joined us in the Best Mindset group, so welcome to the group, and you're looking to build some of your goals and plans before you come on in. Or you could be reviewing some of your goals and plans and just wanted to make sure that you're on pace and on track to make sure you've got everything you need. So what I'm going to show you in this video is essentially how to build a plan for yourself, a goal plan to actually make profit in your business. Because most of us as business owners are so focused on our product and service and making that better, we do not focus on sales and marketing. And that essentially Best Mindset Group is what we're all focused about. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fill out a few forms that are actually in your binder right now and get you started so that by the time you get started with us, you've already got some predetermined understanding of where you're heading, where you're going, and ultimately how to make some money, which is kind of awesome. So if you can go to your binder, go to your Make Your Mark binder and go to the back tab that says Best Mindset Group or Best Mindset on it. And when you open that up, you'll see a few different forms. One that says taking you to $10,000 per month. Next one says commitment agreement. And in that commitment agreement, you can read through it at the end of the video and just sign off on it and come with it signed. If you want to wait and talk to your facilitator about that, that's absolutely fine. But it's really important that you commit to your goals, obviously, as you move through them. And then if you open up from there, you're going to see a big flow chart that looks similar to this. So one page that says My Best Mindset Plan and one page that says Results and Review. And essentially they're one big flow chart that work together. And that's part of what today I'm going to go through with you. As well, if you flip over one more page, I'm going to go through my profit success goals with you. So I'm going to go through these 3 pages with you. So be ready to review them. We're actually going to do a little bit of homework as well. I'm going to get you writing up this section. So just these top 2 areas. This section is going to be totally filled out by you by the end of this video. And that way you can come in with goals set and a clear plan of how to make money, which I'm sure you're here to do, which is awesome. So let's get started on it. So I'm going to start us on the My Best Mindset Plan. This My Best Mindset Plan is essentially taking you and helping you understand how to make money from the business. And what we're doing is we're kind of building a sales pipeline. We're taking people that don't know who you are and helping them buy from you. And we're planning out from a backward step how much money you want to make and then figuring out the workload that that's going to take to be able to attract and find clients. So let's get started on this, and essentially you can follow through with me. I've pre-written some of this just to give you an example. This is all examples, and then for your sake you can fill it in with your specific numbers. So what this piece is this is a 90-day plan. This page is actually filled out over 90 days. And it's built so that every 90 days in our sessions we keep rebuilding new ones. So we'll give you a 90-day outlook to where you want to go. Now, everybody comes into Best Mindset at a different time. So some people come in right when we start our 90-day plan. Some people come in kind of in the middle or along the way. Wherever you're coming in, that's totally fine. I'll show you how to fill this out no matter where you're kind of at right now coming in. What we've got is we've got 4 different quarters within the Best Mindset group. And you'll see that when you get that first Welcome to Best Mindset email. It kind of says Welcome to Best Mindset. It has all the details. And at the bottom, there's a whole bunch of dates. And they say summer section, winter section, fall section, and so on. Each one of those sections is a 90-day section. So you'll see all the dates of all the groups within that given section. So find the section that you're in. So if you're in fall section, find the next upcoming date and see how many Best Mindset groups there are between now and the end of that section. And that'll help you as we move through that, because you might be a 30-day plan, maybe not a 90-day plan. Just make that 30-day plan. Then when we're at the end of that section, we're going to build you another one for 90 days. So that way it keeps you in sync with the rest of the group and you can kind of track accordingly. And I'll go through more of that as we go through this video. So essentially the first thing I want you to do is I want you to figure out between now and the end of that quarter or the end of that section how much money you want to make. So if it's a full 90 days, over 90 days, how much money do you want to make total profit? If it's over 30 days between now and the end, how much money do you want to make over 30 days? Profit. Keyword is profit, not revenue, but profit. The total amount of money coming in minus the total amount of money going out. So I've written an example up for you so you have a bit of an idea of what this can look like, and I want you to write this out as we go. So I used a 90-day kind of projections, but let's say over 90 days I want to make $6,000. Now that's a total of $6,000. So that would be, say, maybe the first month I want to make $1,000, second month maybe I want to make $2,000, and third month I'll make $3,000. So it's a total of $6,000. So make sure you put the total amount, not just the amount you want to make the last month. So $6,000, great. So how am I going to do that? Well, I've got to get sales. I've got to have other people buy my products or my services. And how many do I need to sell? Well, we need to figure that out. So the first thing we need to look at is what is the average amount you profit per sale in your business? Now, a lot of people say to me that varies so much, Danny. I've got some sales, I make $500 off of, other ones I make $10,000 off of. So there's no average for me. There absolutely is an average. Let's just say I had $10,000 I booked, and in that I had about, say 5 clients. Well, I know that each client then must be worth $2,000 on average. Now I know that some of them were higher, some of them were lower, but on average they were worth about $2,000 each, because 5 into 10,000 is 2,000. So figure out your average of what each sale is on average worth to you. It'll really help you. So for this example's sake, I used 2,000. I said, so if each client is worth $2,000 to me and profit, and I need to get $6,000 made between now and the end of the period, well, then I'm going to need 3 clients, because 3 times 2,000 is 6,000. It helps me hit my goal. So now I know how many sales I need. Then I figure, okay, well, people aren't just going to buy from me. At the end of the day, they need to know who I am. They need to get an introduction to me and be able to know what they're buying, right? So I need to probably have some sort of sales meeting with them. An income-generating meeting is what it's called. Now, you can have an income-generating meeting with them. Some of you might do seminars where you have a group of people come. You might have just your website that people click on. So how many clicks do you need on your website to get one sale? Some people might just have people walking into their store. So how many walk-ins do you need before one person buys? So income-generating meeting column is all about figuring out how many people you need to be introduced to your product or service before one buys. So I said, well, on average, say 1 out of 3 buys. So if I need 3 sales, I'm going to need 9 people to come and see me, 9 people to sit down with in order for those 3 people to buy. So now I've got a number of 9. I'm like, wow, now I know I need to meet 9 people to make 3 sales to make $6,000 profit. So I keep on breaking it down. Next step is leads. A lead is a person who says, you know what, I'm interested. Maybe they're not going to sit down with us right away, or they haven't committed to anything yet, but I'm interested. And so from there, we need to figure out, well, how many leads do we need of people who give us their business card and say they're kind of interested before one of them sits down with us? Because people won't just sit down with us without meeting us first, obviously. So on average, I said, well, I need to meet 10 people, maybe get 10 business cards before one person sits down with me. So if I want to do 9 meetings, I'm going to need 90 leads, 10 times 9. Now the final piece is follow-up, and that kind of goes on throughout this whole stage to turn someone from a lead all the way to a sale. But on average, people need to be followed up with 7 to 12 times before they'll make a purchase, on average. That's an important number to remember. If you just call somebody once and they don't call you back and you say, oh, they weren't interested, you are missing out on so much of your marketplace. In Best Mindset, we're going to push your buttons, and one of them is going to be to do a lot more follow-up than you're probably doing right now. So I'm going to use an average of, say, 10. I'm going to get 90 leads. I'm going to have to follow up with them about 10 times in order to get my sales that I need. Okay, great. So that means I need to do 900 follow-ups. That's emails, that's calls, that's a multitude of things. But I need to do 900 follow-ups overall in order to get my profit. So you see how I built that back? I said $6,000. On average, my average as in my business, I make $2,000 per client. Great, so I need 3 clients. Now to get those clients, I got to have meetings. Well, how many meetings do I need? 1 in 3? Great, so I have 9 meetings. To get those meetings set up, I got to get leads. How many leads do I need? Well, 1 out of 10. Great, so I need 90 leads. And to follow up with these people, on average, I got to follow up with them 10 times each to get these sales going. I need to do 900 follow-ups. So that's pretty interesting, and it might seem like a lot just to get that $6,000 made. But trust me, once you get going and you break this down, you realize it's actually not that difficult. So let's break this down. So if you actually look at what it's going to take between every Best Mindset group, it actually ends up being a lot more manageable. So let's figure this out. So if you look at how much sessions you have between now and the end of your quarter, that's what you kind of need to divide it by. So if you're literally starting right at the beginning of the 3-month quarter, then you've got 6 sessions because we meet every 2 weeks. So that's why I have 6 periods here. If you're kind of midway through and you got 2 or 3 sessions, then you divide it by 2 or 3. So in this case, I built it for the whole 90 days. So I said, okay, $6,000 divided by the 6 sessions that we're going to go do, I get $1,000. That means between now and every other Best Mindset session, I got to book, on average, $1,000. Now, it's not always going to be an even thousand. Sometimes it'll be lower, sometimes it'll be a little higher, but it'll be on average, I need to book about $1,000 every 2 weeks between every Best Mindset session. Then I figure out, well, 3 divided by 6 is 0.5. So on average, I have to book about 1 sale every 2 Best Mindset sessions, half a person each time, right? Next thing is meetings. Well, 9 divided by 6 is actually 1.5, but I upped it a little bit. I said, you know what, I'd like to have a little more meetings than less because it really keeps me engaged, and ultimately, if worst case scenario, I'm just going to book more jobs. So on average, I need to do 2 meetings in between every Best Mindset session. Then I went 90 divided by 6, and I need to get 15 leads between every Best Mindset session. And 900 divided by 6, I need to do 150 follow-up calls and emails between now and every other Best Mindset session. What that means is that over 90 days, I'll make $6,000 profit. Now, for some of you, that might be like, great, that would be amazing to make that much money. Some of you say, you know what, that would be a lot of work to make that much money. But depending on where you're at in your business, when you're first starting out, it does take a lot of work to get things started. When you're first getting that ball rolling, that first couple grand is always the toughest part to make. And you really got to push, and you got to do this kind of work to get the ball rolling. But money will start coming, and then it'll get easier and easier as your ratios get better and better. So if you build this and you start to divide it, you're going to see one of three things. One, you're going to say, wow, you know what? It's actually very manageable every 2 weeks what I have to do to actually just go out and make some money. Two, you might say, you know what? This seems way out of whack. There seems like there's some huge numbers here. I don't know if I could ever complete this, and you start to panic a little bit. Or three, you say, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing and I need a little more help, which is fine too, and you can always come in and we're going to assist you. So if you're in if you're in point 2 where you're saying, you know what? This seems this seems crazy. This seems like way too much. First thing I ask you to do is check your numbers. Make sure your ratios are correct. Make sure you calculate things properly. You may have misused a number and it exploded the whole ratio down the line because it's easy to do. If your numbers are correct and you know they are and you're confident in that and you're starting to realize, hey, you know what? The amount of work I'm going to have to call 7,000 people to make $1,000 or something crazy. You need to really ask yourself, maybe this is why it's been a tough challenge to make money in your business so far. Maybe there's been something inconsistent about what you've been doing that's not enabled you to make money. So let's give an example. Let's say, you know what, you have to meet with 10 people to make one sale. And that means you have to do tons of leads and tons of follow-up just to get these 10 people to meet with you, and only one ends up being a sale. Well, it's really simple to fix that because that's a 1 out of 10 sales ratio. A lot of people can get 1 out of 3 or even half of their people to buy from them, but it takes a lot of sales knowledge and it takes some practice in that. At least now you know, and you can start to work on becoming a better salesperson in your business. Or let's say you realize, you know what, I don't get enough leads in my business to even make any of this work. Now you know where you need to focus. You need to get out in the marketplace and get more leads in order to grow your business. So this will really assist you. Instead of going out there doing the same thing, expecting a different result, this will assist you finding the problem areas of your business and really working on them. Here's the mentality you need to go in with though. How can I? Because if you go in with I can't do this, is too much work, you've already shut the floodgates off. It may seem like a big number, it may seem intimidating, but I'm telling you there's a solution to everything. You need to look at how can you, and you will find that solution. Here's another solution. Maybe everything looks okay, but you just can't improve on some of these things. Maybe you need to increase your pricing. Maybe if you can make more profit per sale, it will be okay. You could do less work and still make the same amount of money. So there's always different ways to look at things, and as a coach and as a part of this whole Best Mindset group, you will find solutions with us. But if these numbers seem different than they should be to you, or they seem a little bit too much, look at how can you. Look at problem solving. That's what business owners are there to do, to find the solution. And we will work with you as well. But do not just sit there and say, I cannot do this anymore. We will find a solution. That's what we're here to do. And that's what you need to be doing as well on a regular basis in your business. So that's the homework piece. I want all of us to come in with this one section done. I want you to know how much profit you want to make, and I want you to build that back for how many sales you need, how many meetings you need to do to get those sales, how many leads you need to get those meetings set up, and how much follow-up. Once you've done that, I want you to divide it by however many sessions you have. So if you have 2 sessions, 3 sessions, 6 sessions, whatever these numbers are, divide it by that. So say you have 3 sessions coming up, and you had $6,000 you want to make between now and the end of the quarter. So that's $6,000 divided by 3. So that would be $2,000 between every 2 Best Mindset groups. So whatever your numbers end up being, you divide them all by how many Best Mindset sessions you have between now and the end of the section or the end of the quarter. Then this part you can leave blank for now, but as we go through the group, we end up putting what we actually did. So period 1, we say, well, this is how we ended up doing. You know, for example, I made $200, I got 1 sale, I didn't have any meetings, that's okay, I got some leads though, and I did a lot of follow-up. You know, next time I made a little bit more. I didn't get any sales this time. I did 3 meetings, 15 leads, and 200 follow-ups. So you can see, like, you record what you're doing as you're going. You can see how you're doing versus your average that you set out to do. Just know, in the beginning, you're not always going to hit all your averages right away, especially near the end where it's all these sales things, because sometimes it takes 3 weeks, 3 months even, to get a client to actually even buy from you. As long as you're going out and hitting some of your averages on the sales and the follow-up and the leads, then you're going to be doing the right thing to building towards what it takes to get profit out of the business. So just really get out there, do your best to get this part done. As you go down, do your best to get the money starting to flow in. But ultimately, this will give you an idea of your averages, and then as you come in through every session, you record what you did versus just the average. Okay, now I'm not going to jump to this part just yet. I will get to it, but I'm going to explain, if you turn the page over to My Profit Success Goals. I'm going to explain this first because it'll make sense for the final sheet you're going to fill out. Now this, you don't have to fill out over the video, but I just want to give you a general reference to it. You're going to be filling out one of these every 2 weeks, and it's essentially your 2-week plan. So you put in your start date, and then 2 weeks later your end date with it. You put in your achievable financial goals. So that's the amount of profit you're pretty much guaranteed to make. You can put in your inspirational goal. It's kind of a bump up. It's like, if I do a little more work, or if I do, this one extra thing, I could make this amount of money. And your outrageous goal is, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I've never made this much money before, but I'm going to put it down and see what happens. Then you want to put out why it's important to you. It's not just about money. What is it really about? I put personally, so my wife can raise her kids, and she can basically do it without having to work, which would be beautiful for us in the family. And then the most important part, I get you to write down your 3 exposure activities before you leave the group. So over those 2 weeks, what are you going to go do to expose your business to others? I got, go to 15 networking events, hand out 1,000 flyers. Notice how I didn't say make flyers or design this or get this website built. I'm not putting those things because those don't expose my business. The difference between making 1,000 flyers and handing out 1,000 flyers is people see me as soon as I hand them out. So I'm not going to allow you to focus on designing and creating, because that's what you'll do that anyways. You're an entrepreneur. You're creative by nature. You'll get distracted by that as well, though, and it'll stop you from making money. I'm going to hold you to handing out those flyers and doing the things that it takes to get exposure. So handing out 1,000 flyers. Another example, post 50 Twitter posts / Facebook posts. So every time you leave the group, you commit to 3 things you're going to go do to expose the business. This is where I hold all the accountability. If you're wondering, okay, is Danny holding me accountable to making money every 2 weeks? You know what? You will make money if you're doing these things. I guarantee it. And that's where I really, really focus with people when it comes down to making money in their business, is getting these exposure activities going every 2 weeks. And you cannot miss these. You have to make these concrete. You notice how I put numbers for all of them. You have to know how much you're going for in each area, and you have to go execute. And that's what's going to make you money. Below that, we have a little plan. And it's very similar to what you put in your average every 2 weeks plan. You just kind of take what you've got here and you go, okay, well, what do I want to do? Your total plan, I want to do how many sales, how many meetings, how many leads do I need, and how much follow-up do I need? And then from that, you can ultimately figure out your plan for the next couple weeks. Now, you don't fill out anything in here until you're out and about every day, and then you just plug in how you're actually doing. Let's say day 3, I did 20 calls, I did 2 leads, didn't do any meetings that day, and no sales. What was your biggest learning experience, though? And then you put that in. And at the bottom, when you come back after 2 weeks, you tally how you actually did versus your original plan. So you're tracking every single day. So again, you don't have to fill this out right now. You can fill it out when you come into the first group. We're going to give some time to that. But ultimately, this gives you an idea of some of the forms you're going to be filling out. Now, the reason I went through this form before I went through the review form is because ultimately, this becomes your plan for 2 weeks. And when you come back, you review that plan. So you start off by plugging in how you did, kind of just like how we put here. So how did you do on the overall sales funnel? And then you put in, okay, well, how did you do profit-wise? Did you hit your inspirational, your achievable, or maybe you hit your outrageous goal? So I just put I hit the achievable goal. Achievable is 200. That's what I originally wanted, was 200, the achievable goal. Great, I put it there. Then the exposure activities. And again, this is where I hold all the accountability. Did you hit, get close, or did you miss on them? If you hit, there's green stickers at the center of the table that you put down, and that's basically meaning that you did all 3 of your exposure activities. If you got close, that means you did 2, and there's yellow stickers for that at the center of the table. And if you missed, that means you put a red sticker down, that means you did 1 or less. So those stickers will be at the table at the session when you're there, but it just gives you an idea. First you put in how'd you do it with profit, then did you hit, get close or miss on your exposure activities, and then the review piece. You really want to understand, why did you hit the goal? If you hit it, what went so well? What would capture that? Or if you missed, what was your biggest learning experience from that? And then one thing to continue or change. It's always important to improve, and if you're always looking at what you've done really well, to continue that is huge. If you've looked at stuff that maybe didn't go so well, what did you learn from that so you can change it moving forward, so you can stop doing the same thing, expecting a different result, and start improving and start making money. So this is how we do it. And then basically every period, which is every 2 weeks, we record how things ended up going. We record how we did profit-wise, whether we did our exposure activities, and what we learned from it, and what we're going to do differently about it. Next, 2 weeks later, we keep going, and we fill out more as we go through. Before we leave every session, we fill out a new one of these, which I'll go through every session how to do it, so don't worry too much if you're not 100% clear yet, but I will go through every session how to fill out one of these. You come back with that plan done, and you review how you did, and it just keeps repeating. In between the sessions as well, we're going to have some education, so you're basically going to be reviewing your goals, going over some education about how to improve on your goals, and then setting goals for the next 2 weeks. And that's essentially the Best Mindset Group. So I trust this helped you. You can review this video as many times as you'd like to make sure you get your numbers. Your homework before you come into the group is to get this top section done, to figure out on total between now and the end of the quarter how much money you want to be making and the plan to get there. And then on average, every 2 weeks, what it's going to take. Just remember, it's averages. So you're not always going to hit your averages day one. That's okay. But at least have an idea of what your average should be, and then we can build towards your average and then go above it as we go through the quarter. Other than that, welcome to Best Mindset Group. I trust this is going to be a huge shift for you. Get ready to have fun, push your boundaries, be open, and we're going to rock this business and start you getting making money. See you at your next Best Mindset Group.